HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Storm, One Voice from the AIDS Generation, by Christopher Zyda, read by Paul Boehmer. Preface. This book is my true story. I know because, against all odds, I lived through all of it. This book is a memoir, not an autobiography, because it focuses primarily on 15 years of my life, the years of 1983 through 1998, and not on my entire life. And memoirs have rules. In today's age of truthlessness, I want to disclose the rules that I have followed in writing it. Most of the people in this memoir are referred to by their first names. For persons who I am certain are dead, who constitute most of the people in my story, I have used their real first name as a means of honoring their memory and legacy in my life. For persons who are still alive, or who possibly still may be alive, I have also used their real first names unless they are villains. Villains are not referred to by their names at all, only by their roles in my story. I have used the full names of all public figures. There is one non-villain whose identity I disguise in order to protect him and his family. I have painstakingly and quite painfully recreated this period of my life based upon notes, writings, interviews, photographs, home movies, obituaries, ticket stubs, invitations, scrapbook contents, post-it notes, therapy notes, legal findings, income tax returns, address books, memory boxes in my bedroom closet and my warehouse, family genealogy research, Social Security death index searches, Google searches, discussions with family members and friends and former work colleagues, Billboard magazine's annual Top 100 Songs lists, and historical events, AIDS medical and social history, U.S. history, California history, and Los Angeles history. But most of all, my memory. I have tried to be accurate and honest and also fair, even with respect to the villains and with respect to events that portray me in a negative light, because truth-telling is powerful. My memory is much better than I thought it would be when I embarked on this writing journey, but please understand that it is not perfect, and these events happened a very long time ago. In the passages with actual dialogue, the content and tone is accurate, but these may not be the exact words that were said. There is one section in which the narrative delves into fantasy, which I clearly state. In the sections in which I write about my inner thoughts, please know that these sections convey my thoughts at the time, but also layer in a more seasoned perspective as I look back from the vantage point of an older man. After all, one of my goals in writing this memoir was to contemplate this story of my youth, examine my flaws, and to understand how my life experience shaped me into the man I am today. This process was incredible therapy for me. Finally, my story is just one of many stories from the AIDS generation. In it, I speak only for myself, and not in any way for the gay and lesbian community, not for AIDS activists, not for any other groups, not for anyone else. I speak only for myself and my own life experience. As you will see, I don't look very good or even likable in several parts of this memoir, but I admit that I am a flawed human being. This story is the way it all happened, and it is my history. Chapter 1. Sun. On a cold and clear Monday evening in early January 1984, I stood, scared, dressed in my suit and tie, at the bottom of the steps to the UCLA Delta Sigma Phi fraternity house, located at 620 Landfair Avenue, in Westwood, California. Tonight, I would tell the truth to my 80-plus fraternity brothers at our Monday night chapter meeting. The truth about my sexual orientation, a subject about which I had artfully avoided any public discussion throughout my childhood, adolescence, and even college, until this moment in time when I was a 21-year-old senior 2 quarters from graduation. And for my first public discussion of this subject, I had decided that these 80-plus fraternity brothers, close friends of mine for the past nearly 4 years, were the right audience. I would tell them that I was gay, a truly fateful moment in my life. Yes, I was terrified of what might happen. After all, it was January 1984. A lifetime before the greater acceptance of gays and lesbians that exists today. 1984 was just a few years after the groundbreaking gay character Jody Dallas appeared on the television show Soap, but still long before the Golden Girls episode about Dorothy's lesbian college roommate, long before the Friends episode named The One with the Lesbian Wedding, long before the groundbreaking coming-out puppy episode on Ellen, and long before the gay-centered comedy series, Will and Grace. I stood at the bottom of those fraternity house steps because of a fuse that I had lit 8 months earlier when I came out of the closet to Kevin, a friend from UCLA Student Government's Spring Sing Committee, and a member of the fraternity 2 doors up the street from mine. Kevin was handsome, with brown hair, dark eyes, and a great smile. Kevin and I had forged a close friendship, and regularly we would get together for dinner, movies, and to hang out. One night in May 1983, Kevin and I went to see Sophie's Choice, along with Kevin's male roommate, who brought along a male friend. During the film, I noticed that Kevin's roommate and his friend held each other's hands. So, after we returned to Kevin's apartment on Oakwood Avenue in Hollywood, I asked Kevin about it. His demeanor suddenly changed, and he looked at me with a serious expression from across the coffee table. "Chris, my roommate is gay," said Kevin. Then a pause. "I have been trying for a while to tell you that I'm gay, too." I swallowed hard. But he interrupted me. "Chris, I'm wondering when you are going to tell me that you also are gay." Boom! My anxiety skyrocketed through the roof. Suddenly, the big elephant in the room occupied the coffee table between the two of us, completely unavoidable. Kevin had scored a bullseye. No amount of pivoting or tap dancing could get me out of this situation. Unless I lied. I knew that I couldn't lie. I took a deep breath to answer him, when he added, "Chris, I like spending time with you. I want us to be together." Kevin then moved closer to me and held my hand. We had been on an actual date at Sophie's Choice, and I didn't even know it. In retrospect, my experience with Kevin serves as Exhibit A of my lifelong challenge of having the world's worst gaydar. The situation with Kevin terrified me. You see, I had almost always known that I was gay. Before I understood sexual orientation, I simply knew that I was different. different from everyone else, different thinking, different perspectives, different interests, just plain different. Not like any others around me. A few of my differences: 1. Breech baby, born left foot first and delivered without cesarean section. 2. Left-handed in a right-handed world. 3. INTJ. Note: the introverted, intuitive, thinking, judgmental, INTJ, personality type, also referred to as the architect or the mastermind, appears in approximately 2% of the population according to the Myers-Briggs Foundation. A rare Myers-Briggs personality type. 4. Easily bored. 5. Occasionally stubborn. 6. I play the piano by ear, and at age 7 I drove my piano teacher nuts by adding notes and chords to my assigned piano recital pieces to make them sound better. 7. Also at age 7, the state of California classified me as a gifted student after Dr. Sobel, my public elementary school psychologist, tested my IQ and I scored over 138, the highest score possible on the test he administered. 8. The Pope demoted my Roman Catholic namesake, St. Christopher, from official sainthood to folk hero status around 1969, far too late for my religious parents to rename me with a proper saint name. My catechism teachers at Our Lady of Lourdes Roman Catholic Church in Northridge, California, regularly pointed out my patron saint's demotion, highlighting my difference. I was then, and I still am, different on so many levels. When puberty hit, I knew for certain that I was attracted to boys, but society programmed me to believe that same-sex attraction was wrong. So I stuffed everything deep down inside. Junior high school, for me, was a painful desert. By high school, I decided that I would come out of the closet someday, but not until after I finished college. I know that sounds silly today, but I feared that if I came out, the resulting distractions would hurt my GPA and reduce my chances of acceptance into graduate school if I ever wanted to attend one. So, I bolted my closet door shut. As part of my cover, during college, I even very casually dated women, including a nice young woman, Joanne, from a UCLA sorority. I exhibited all the behaviors of a hugely mixed-up, gay, Roman Catholic young man trying to fit into a heterosexual world in the midst of a never-ending barrage of anti-gay messages from society. A pained existence about to crumble. In an instant, Kevin had come out to me, turned the tables on me, and yanked my closet door open. This terrified me. I knew that I had to tell him the truth. After all, I'm the one who brought up his roommate's hand-holding. So, I chose to take my first step forward. Yes, Kevin, I am gay. I've also never said this to anyone before. You were the first. Then, Kevin kissed me, and I spent the night at his apartment. My first sexual experience with another man, although I fumbled my way through it, was off the charts, butterflies included. In the morning, I stared at the ceiling of the bedroom, Kevin quietly sleeping next to me, my mind racing about the Pandora's box that I had just opened. My panicked internal stream of consciousness raced like this. Who will Kevin tell about my being gay? Should I tell Joanne? No, I can't tell Joanne because her sorority sister Pelly is dating Dave, one of my fraternity brothers, and I don't want this news getting back to my fraternity. Should I just stop seeing Joanne? Do I owe her any sort of explanation? Should I tell my parents? Goodness, no. Is it possible for me to stay mostly in the closet and have no one know about this? How does the gay world work? Do I want to be Kevin's boyfriend? Am I even ready to be any man's boyfriend? Kevin is gorgeous, and smart, and funny, and kind. Why wouldn't I want to be his boyfriend? What if he wants to hold hands in front of Royce Hall? Will coming out hurt my GPA? How can I continue living in my fraternity house if I'm now out of the closet? Ugh! Now I will need to move out and rent an expensive apartment. Good God! For the rest of my life, Sophie's Choice will always be my coming-out movie. That's so messed up. I love Meryl Streep, but why couldn't it be a more uplifting film? I'm getting anxious. I need to get out of Kevin's apartment as quickly as possible so that I can regroup. I'm afraid I need to state what should be obvious to everyone, but apparently isn't. People are born gay or straight. No one chooses to become gay any more than anyone chooses to have blue or brown eyes. But when you are gay, at some point, you do have to choose whether you want to live a truthful life or remain bolted tightly in the closet. Many men and women from my generation chose to live with the bolts firmly in place out of fear and self-preservation. By admitting to Kevin that I was gay, those bolts disintegrated, and my closet door creaked open. Once that door opens, even a crack, it nudges life into a cascading series of events that can't be reversed, like the ripples that expand from a stone thrown into a lake. By making my choice, I could see my life already rippling beyond Kevin, and this amplified my fears. I stirred around in the bed enough to wake him up. "Good morning. I need to get going," I said. "Last night was a big night for me, and I need some time to think about everything." Kevin looked sad. His new, hoped-for boyfriend was leaving him, even before breakfast. "Kevin, I don't know that we can be together, at least not right away, because I need to sort things out." I continued. "I need to figure out how this new world works for me and what it means for my life. I hope you can understand this." Kevin now looked crushed. My mind still raced. I dressed, hugged him goodbye, and left. Over the next few weeks, we spoke on the phone a number of times, but we never got together. I kept him at a distance. Our moment of possibility had passed. His calls slowed, then stopped. He graduated and went to work on a cruise ship. Eventually, we drifted apart into a distant, fading friendship. I didn't see Kevin again until 11 years later. Meanwhile, the summer of 1983 rocked my world. With no summer school, I worked full-time as a library researcher for the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner newspaper, and on evenings and weekends, I learned about this new gay world that I had finally allowed myself to join. I immediately stopped seeing Joanne, of course. I discovered the gay neighborhood of West Hollywood, also known as Boys Town or the Swiss Alps, but not yet as WeHo, and its many gay bars, dance clubs, and restaurants. At that time, old red-car trolley tracks still occupied the center of West Hollywood's main thoroughfare, Santa Monica Boulevard. That summer, I gained self-confidence when I learned that scores of handsome men found me attractive, something I had never believed was true about me. I collected dozens of phone numbers from men who wanted to date me, and I saved these phone numbers in a jar on the top of my dresser. I made many new gay friends, including fellow students from UCLA and USC, and we all met up in West Hollywood's gay dance clubs and bars on the weekends. Or we would meet at the gay sections of beaches: Venice Beach, Will Rogers Beach, nicknamed Ginger Rogers Beach, and Laguna Beach. My new friends invited me to lavish pool parties in West Hollywood, the Hollywood Hills, Bel Air, Holmby Hills, and Malibu. These gays had incredible homes with gorgeous views. I fell in love with the Hollywood Hills and its canyons, and I dreamed of someday owning a home in the hills with a great view, too. I danced many nights at the Studio One disco, followed by late-night breakfasts at Cantor's Deli. I saw up-and-coming vocal stars perform at the Backlot and the Rose Tattoo restaurants during Monday talent nights. I watched the hit television show Dynasty on Wednesday nights at the Revolver Video Bar, as its stars, Linda Evans and Joan Collins, would wrestle around in mud or endure some other humiliation, and the entire bar, packed with men, would erupt into cheers. I joined and worked out at the exclusively gay athletic club gym, owned by the openly gay bodybuilding legend Jim Morris, alongside the fittest men in Los Angeles. A major television star from Dynasty, closeted at the time, worked out at the athletic club, and everyone kept his secret. In the summer of 1983, West Hollywood was gay Camelot. Life was simple and sunny, and I felt so alive. Some of the best songs from the playlist of my life come from that summer: Billie Jean, Flashdance, Beat It, Maniac, She Works Hard for the Money, The Safety Dance, 1999, Always Something There to Remind Me, Cool Places, Our House, Wanna Be Startin' Somethin', I'm Still Standing, and It's Raining Men. Songs that instantly transport me back to my time capsule summer of wild fun, exploration, hope, and the moment when everything in life for me and so many others seemed possible. Note: throughout this memoir I reference songs, particularly ones from the 1980s and 1990s, to provide a contemporaneous musical context to my story for the reader. My mind fuses songs with my memories, so the inclusion of them in this memoir also helped me remember details of my story. Eventually I met Marty, a stunningly handsome, blonde-haired, blue-eyed man from Michigan who worked as a waiter at Restaurant Muse on Beverly Boulevard. Marty had apparently followed me a bit around West Hollywood and finally summoned the courage to say hello to me at the corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and San Vicente Boulevard. Not creepy at all, right? I dated Marty for the second half of the summer of 1983. My favorite memory involving Marty. We were invited to a party on a yacht in Marina del Rey, but I couldn't leave my work in time to get to the boat before it departed for Malibu. Marty wanted me to come to the party so badly that he asked me to meet the yacht later that day at the Malibu pier. When I finished at work, I drove to Malibu, but unfortunately the yacht could not dock at the pier to pick me up. So I stripped down to my bathing suit, jumped into the ocean, and swam out to join everyone. I made quite an entrance, climbing up the ladder on the side of the yacht, a wet and shirtless 21-year-old with a group of fully dressed gay men applauding me. To this day, that remains my best party entrance ever. I fell in love with yachts that afternoon, and I dreamed of owning one someday. When the party ended, I dove off the boat, swam back to shore, and drove home. Although I am a California and Los Angeles native, Marty was the first person I met who embodied California's New Age spiritual philosophy. He opened my eyes to new forms of spiritual and philosophical thinking, and he introduced me to Louise Hay's writings about the power of positive affirmations and to the New Age Bodhi Tree bookstore on Melrose Avenue. Note: Louise Hay is known as one of the founders of the self-help movement and published Heal Your Body in 1976 and You Can Heal Your Life in 1984. Both best-selling books discuss the connection between the mind and the body and how positive thought patterns can help reverse illness and improve health. One morning, as we lay in bed in Marty's studio apartment on Ozetta Terrace in the hills above the Sunset Strip and the iconic Tower Records store, Marty turned to me and said, "You know, Chris, the world is about to go through huge changes. A lot of people will be leaving it, and they will serve as angels for the rest of the people that stay here." It was a typical New Age Marty-style comment, but this one stuck with me. In hindsight, Marty's comment foreshadowed the future. I had a wonderful summer whirlwind romance with Marty. He was sweet and kind and incredibly sexy, but not a match for me. As I began my senior year at UCLA, I stopped dating him. I also moved out of my fraternity house and into an apartment at the corner of Kings Road and Fountain Avenue in the heart of West Hollywood with Chris, a friend from UCLA, and John, a friend from USC, both of whom were gay. Well, that started a rumor about me. My fraternity brothers knew that Chris was gay, and they connected the dots. In early January 1984, one of them told me that a rumor was spreading that I was gay. I froze, in shock and terror. I should have known that closet doors can't be kept partly open. I could have ignored the rumor, avoided my friends in the fraternity for the next 6 months until graduation, and disappeared into the UCLA woodwork. After all, UCLA was a huge school with over 40,000 students. I couldn't live, however, with running away from my friends with whom I had shared so much. That's not my style. I decided that the best course of action, even though it absolutely terrified me, was to tell everyone in my fraternity the truth, in one fell swoop at a Monday night chapter meeting, knowing full well that it could go incredibly badly. The fuse that I had lit 8 months earlier had finally burned to its end. So, now, on this cold, clear night in January 1984, I stood, scared, at the bottom of the steps of my UCLA fraternity house, facing the moment of truth. I looked up to the stars above me for courage, and then nervously climbed those steps one last time. I knew that one way or the other, when I descended these steps, I most likely would no longer be a member of my fraternity. Even in Los Angeles in 1984, it was extremely unlikely that any fraternity would allow an out gay man to remain a member. My fraternity brothers and I would go our separate ways with our separate identities, just like Los Angeles had done earlier that month when the entire city split into 2 separate area codes with distinct identities. After tonight, I would be 213, and my fraternity brothers would be 818. In the chapter room, packed full of over 80 young men, I approached Dave, our president, and asked, "Would you mind if I make a quick announcement at the beginning of the chapter meeting? I need to leave early and head to the library." Dave gave me the floor to speak. I took a deep breath and started. "Hi, everyone. I have an announcement. It has come to my attention that a rumor is going around about my being gay, And I just want you all to know that it's true. Yes, I am gay.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?